Hey everybody, this is Jennifer with northweststamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cool double embossed background. So it's a way of having it be debossed, which means it's indented, and then you have raised, and then you'll emboss, so you'll have the raised pattern on top. So it's kind of this cool double whammy of a pattern. So to make this card and to do this top part, first we're just going to focus on making that background. I'm using a 3.5 by 3.5 piece of Whisper White paper, and all I'm doing is I'm using this hearts embossing folder from Stampin' Up! To make my pattern. Now I usually, when I'm doing this, is if you hold it up on this side where it's the flat side, not the raised side, you can really easily see where your pattern is going to be, so you can line it up and make it kind of how you like it. And so I don't know, I kind of try to even it out a little bit. So I'm just going to do that. Then we'll do our first round of embossing with our Big Shot. Okay, now that you've done this first bit of embossing, you'll see that you have these raised hearts. But what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over to the back side where it's smooth. So not the part with the bumps, the side where it's smooth. And then set it down. And then I grabbed my Blushing Bride light pink ink pad, and then one of these yellow sponges that I just cut into a wedge, and you are going to sponge over the top. Now if you sponge over the top so that it is not pressing too hard, you will see that pattern start to pop out. So you just keep going until it's all popped out, until you've gotten it all kind of covered in your background color. Now if you notice this looks a little bit more orange than pink, that's just because I managed to grab the wrong sponge. So if you want to help keep from doing that in the future, or just keep your fingers clean, here's a tip that I often will do, and I just apparently didn't do this for my Blushing Bride, which is to take a piece of cardstock and just cut a little scrap or strip and staple it onto the end. It gives you something to grip so your fingers don't get inky, and then down the road you always know what color you were trying to use. So I did that for my Rich Razzleberry, didn't do it for my Blushing Bride, so instead we get kind of this apricot color, which is pretty. It's just a little bit different than what my sample was, but you'll get the idea anyway. Okay, so you can see how this has the white hearts kind of showing through. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your embossing folder, only this time you'll still go on that flat side because the bumps over here on this side is going to push through your paper. So you want it to push up through where you've already embossed. So do the flat side that you've just sponged, stick it to the flat side of your embossing folder, and then you can kind of move it around until you get the pattern how you like. So for me with the hearts, what I did is I had them more going vertically, so that they all were in columns, so they looked kind of like a braided chain. So you just move it around until it's all lined up how you think will look cute, and then close it up and you'll run it through your Big Shot again. Now when you pull it out, you'll have the raised hearts sticking up through. So now we're going to do the same thing, only you want to be really gentle with your sponging, even more so than the first time. So we're just going to ink it up, and then as you lightly sponge over the top, it'll start revealing those hearts that got raised up, and you'll get a little bit of the color on your background too, but it just makes for a nice kind of like watercolory wash sort of look. But you just gently sponge to reveal those raised hearts. So I'm not really pushing too much. But you can do this with any color, but just kind of nice to do a darker color on top so that embossed stuff shows up better, and then a complementary color to go underneath. And so when you're done, you end up with your the parts that are bumped out through the bottom will be white, and you'll have your colored on top. Fun and cute, don't you think? Now we'll make the rest of the card. So all you're going to do is you're going to glue your piece onto a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch square of the Watermelon Wonder. So we'll glue that, and then you'll be able to just glue it onto your 4 1/4 card base. So that's 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. So those all just will glue together nicely over here. Then for the rest of these elements, all I did is I took my Epic Alphabet stamp set. Stuff is great. It's in photopolymer, but it has a heart here. And so you can take your heart, and then I inked it up in Watermelon Wonder and just stamp. And then the cool thing is that this matches this heart punch that we have. This is the Sweetheart Punch. You can just line it up and punch it out. So that was my heart. And then I'm going to find my U, which is this guy. It's always hard for me when I have to think upside down. And then he gets inked up in the Memento. We'll stamp them on here. And then yes, this one you do have to cut out by hand. So let's take a second and snip him. Okay, so then you have your U for Love You. Finally, I took some ribbon. This was actually from the occasion, or from the holiday catalog. So it is retired now, but I had some extra. So all I did was took a piece of this ribbon. So take any of your favorite ribbon. This one is about 5 inches long. And I just folded it over so that I could staple it behind my heart. So I just sort of lined it up there, and then this is the Stampin' Up's mini stapler. So you can just sort of slide it in here so that it holds the ribbon on. And then take your ribbon scissors and just sort of cut your ends. And then as we glue this all together, you'll have a cute little card. So I hope you enjoyed that and really enjoyed learning this tutorial for the technique for the background, because it is super cute and super easy. So, but grab your different patterns. It works really well for line art, so things that are lined, but you can also do it for solids like dots or stars or things that sort of pattern through, because really the important part is you're having white for the one part with the first color, and then you'll emboss it and you'll have darker over the top. So experiment with your embossing folders. I love it with the hearts, but let me know what you've tried and what your favorite embossing folders are. So I hope you'd enjoy. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment, send me an email at jennifer@nwstamper.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, so you can see the latest and greatest as I have more project and technique ideas for you. So thanks so much and have a great day.